appears that last night Tim Pool and the Quartering buried the hatchet, and then also Tim Pool started talking about Eliza Blue. Now, some people think that is a genuine concern. Other people think that it's because of this.
You shouldn't have been here in the first place. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.
Regardless, it appears that Tim Pool is a little bit demoralized after the whole incident and even started a poll. You can see that I voted no on the poll. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with me, but I do not want to see less people talking about right-wing issue rather than more. So Tim Pool does, I believe, serve his purpose on YouTube, whether you like it or not. But he posted a couple of interesting observations that I would like to answer. So the first one is that he realized last night that there is a radical misalignment between his values and many of the largest culture warriors. We have passive viewers and fighters. The fighters won't fight mostly the machine, but they will fight for drama. The passive viewers agree, but then don't fight. I disagree with this assessment. I do think that people are fighting in real life. I mean, there have been protests. Tim Pool was complaining about the Drag Kids Story Hour. There have been protests about it. There have been lawsuits about it. I mean, people are fighting. Of course, the number of people that do that is going to be smaller than the number of people that mess with online personalities, simply because in order to do something like that, you need time, you need money, you need to actually go outside, versus messing with an online personality. All you need to do is give a thumbs down on a YouTube video or unsubscribe, stop a payment subscription, and that's it. It's minimal effort. Versus to actually go out and protest, it requires more time, more effort. So yeah, from Tim Pool's perspective, it may seem that people reacted more seriously in his case. But again, like, no one went to protest in front of his house. And I would say that there have been people that have done that in front of schools, in front of clubs, right? So it does happen. There are fighters. Videos just about me get more interest than war, economics, culture, and revolution. Well, in the case of Tim Pool, I would say that he is over-exaggerating with the Civil War stuff. I mean, for the last, 3 to 4 years, he constantly talks about Civil War. Like, if you keep hammering the drum, eventually the interest is going down, because it's going to be, oh, well, another Tim Pool video. What is he talking about? Oh, World War III. Okay. Civil War. Okay. So, it's not true. Like, there is interest about those types of videos. But, like, if you keep using that title over and over and over, and you are being way too hyperbolic, and you're exaggerating everything. Like, for example, there was a video of Tim Pool where China flown, I believe, like 25 planes over Taiwan. And he was like, is this World War III? And it's like, obviously it's not going to be World War III, because there is no way that China would invade when their ships aren't even in position. Like, that was just a display of strength that China does constantly, almost every year. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Sure, you can say, yeah, it is concerning, but I wouldn't say, oh, it's World War III scenario. So, like, if you're going to keep hyping up this stuff, you're going to get less and less engagement of it. Secondly, usually people who care about war, economics, and culture revolution, they can get much better coverage from Fox News and CNN. Like, people go on YouTube because they also want a little bit of entertainment. They also want a little bit of drama. The difference between YouTube and MSNBC is that at least on YouTube, you get to see real people. Real people have drama. And it also depends on the type of channel. Like, there are channels that cover drama. Why? Because through the history of journalism, gossip rags exist. So while you do have, like, more serious political commentary channels, like Stick, Sex, and Hammer, I would say, you also have channels that deal with politics, and occasionally they deal with drama. Why? Because that's what the audience wants. At the end of the day, we do not get to decide what the audience wants to see. The audience decides what they want to see. So if you're a YouTuber that's presenting stuff that the audience isn't interested in, then they're not going to watch you. Meanwhile, if you make videos that the audience is interested in, well, you're going to get a lot of views. Because that's how the world works. That's how the free market works. Case in point, the Johnny Depp trial. Like, the Johnny Depp trial was something that was interesting, but didn't interest me as much, which is why I didn't cover it. However, there have been other channels covering it, making millions of dollars off of it. because that's what people wanted to see. So you can't really force the market by telling people, no, this is what you need to care about. It just doesn't work that way. Dimple, I'm not interested in drama, fame, money. I'm interested in worldly affairs. This is why I used to travel around, but it seems most people either won't stand up or are only interested in drama. The reason people are interested in drama is that if you bring a person on your show, which happens to have either a charity or a movement or ask people for subscriptions, right? And then it turns out that that person is lying. It would be nice if you at least address that. Okay? Now, you can choose not to address it. That's fine. But if you're a person that talks about free speech constantly and you're like, well, it would be better if people had free speech. When that person goes around and starts banning people on social media, you should at least like have one sentence to address that. Like, you don't have to talk about it for an entire video. But it would be nice to say, look, when I invite someone here, I am not Jesus Christ. I don't know everything that they did. So if they did something in the past, that's on them. I do not condone censorship if it happens to be true. I do not stand for it, blah, 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 blah. Literally, that's all you have to do. But if you're going to tell your viewers, oh, we're not losing any memberships, no one is doing... It's like issuing a challenge on the internet. Why would you do that? That is so unprofessional, right? Going after your viewers is something that no one ever does on YouTube, because when you do it, you start losing subscribers. So it's not the fact that your values are misaligning with the viewership. It's the elitist attitude. Like, if you're going to behave the same way like the mainstream media, you're going to be treated the same way like the mainstream media. It is what it is. Obviously, some people have started fighting back, running for office, making cultural content and more, but the real energy isn't there. No one to defend us on our principles. Well, the real energy is there. Like, there were YouTubers that were deplatformed by this lady, and as you can see, you were pressured into changing your opinion. There is energy there. It's just that you were on the wrong end of it. But I have noticed, especially recently, that YouTubers, when it comes to censorship or when it comes to someone getting the platform, are far more united than they used to be back in 2018, for example. People can reply in this thread saying I'm wrong or whatever, but that's exactly my point. A misalignment in our values. Beyond that, there are also glaringly obvious problems. Well, I think I explained my point. I don't know if it's a misalignment in the values. But if it is, it is. I'm going to call it out. However, I explained the rationale on why I think the way I think. People want to come on the show for fame and influence. People beg me for money, for retweets, for recognition. That's the power machine. Lots of people watch, so now people want to come on the show. It's reality, it's sad. I mean, I don't know if it's reality or sad, but yeah, I mean, it's how YouTube always works. Like, if I ask for a bigger YouTuber, and by bigger I mean someone with more subscribers than me, to have a live stream, they will probably say no, because I'm not worthy their time, right? Like, the question is, like, what are they getting out of it? I try not to do that. Like, there have been smaller YouTubers that asked me to come on their show back in the day when I had more time, and I would go there. Now I don't do many live streams, but yeah, it is what it is. Tim has all grown way out of proportion to what I ever wanted to, and I am no leader, no general. Like, no one is expecting you to be a leader or general, right? But, like, if people pay you money for a subscription, the last thing they want to hear is, like, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Like, if you do that, it doesn't matter the type of personality or values that you have, right? Like, if you go into a store and it has, like, really good products, but the store owner tells you to get out, bye-bye, well, you're not going to go there again. It just keeps growing. The expansion seems infinite and it seems like a mistake. I've talked about it repeatedly for the past year, especially with death threats, swatting, burglaries, and stalkers. In the case of Temple, I do get it. Like, he had a record number of swattings. So, I do understand where he is coming from with this. But I don't think that the swattings have been from the right. Of course, there's no way to verify it. I do not know how to help him with this situation. It is messed up. I do understand this. The Stockings really get me. People crying, begging to be let in. Former employees centering their whole lives around me. It's crazy for what reason? The level of obsession some people have, which terrifies me. Not because I fear of my safety, but because I worried about human priorities. Okay. I can't really articulate why Timple is getting this shit and other YouTubers aren't. Like, for example, there are other YouTubers that are larger than Tim Pool, like Crowder, the Hodge twins. They're not getting any of this shit. I don't know what the reason is. I have no idea. Maybe it's the geographical area. Maybe it's because the fact he invites people in real life so they know where he lives, right? Like, for example, Steven Crowder, he's got an office. So even if people know where the office is, they do not know where his home address is. I can't speculate, right? But what I do know is that when it comes to Tim Pool, he does seem to get a lot of stuff that other content creators isn't getting. There are people built for this, but it isn't me. Obviously, I consistently break all the rules of PR. People simultaneously demand that I don't bow to the mob, but I'm also arrogant for not doing what the mob says. No, like, that's not the point. The point is, like, you're not doing what your paid customers tell you to do. Like, you're a business. At least, you know, if you care about memberships and whatnot. If you don't care about membership, why have them up in the first place? But you're a business, right? You can't tell your customer bye-bye. Like, the mob is... The problem with the woke mob is that they are not customers. Like, when you look at the woke mob going after a video game, like Hogwarts, right? They do not want to buy the game. They just want the company to bend over to their will. So that is different. But if you are the people making Hogwarts, and your own customers are telling you, like, look, we do not like this game mechanic, it's buggy. Or they're telling you, can you change that? The last thing you want to do is to insult them. So that is the difference between the mob and the customer. One person tried burglarizing my studio to get James O'Keefe and Andy No's home address. Either way, we pay legal fees to block it, or we drop the charges. It was a trick. The amount at the back end shit goes, it makes the machine work a bit crazy, and it seems too much for me. To that goal, I ask, what is this fight for? More rage bait, more fake news, more like celebrities, more personalities. More politicians proposing nothing, trading stocks, lying on the news. Like AOC talking about Boston Children's Hospital. The thing is, the mindset that you're having is wrong, okay? Like, you believe you're going to change the culture. You're just one person with a YouTube channel. Like, if you want to really be influential and change the culture, you would have at least $100 billion in the bank, and you would be spending that money in order to build up politicians, grassroots support, you know, send people to feed the homeless, do charity work in order to show to the community how noble you are and why your cause needs supporting. Right? A YouTube channel helps, but you're not going to change the culture with it. I mean, look at what the left does. Like, the left has think tanks. It donates billions of dollars into various groups and supports, and it uses a lot of money and influence. That's much larger than one person. You're not going to change the world with a YouTube channel. I'm sorry to say that. You know, unless you want to run for politics. Like, if you want to run for politics, fine. But then again, you also get hit with the same thing. Because you're just going to be one guy. And there's an army of other politicians that want to do things their way. How many years will Democrats propose reparations? How many years will we debate term limits? As long as they can. Like, this is a silly question. Like, how many times will they do a strategy that's working? As many times as they can get away with. Like, until there is an actual punishment for them doing so, like getting less votes or having bad PR, going down in the polls, they will keep asking for it. At a certain point, I just have to say, I've talked about this 73 times. I'm over it now. I look forward to being some old man. The kids, like Old Man Pool, once bought a billboard in Times Square, and they're like, get off my property, you damn kids. All right. So, as you can see, you have this individual saying, fighting censorship is not a culture war, it's a foundation of freedom and democracy. Clearly, as I pointed out, our values are not aligned. Fighting censorship by sending me and my staff threats, but refusing to send a postcard to Congress, I have no issues disagreeing. Yeah, but like, how many... Oh, come on, this is disingenuous, right? Like, you're acting as if 100%, or even no, a majority of people which wanted Tim Pool to talk about censorship also sent him death threats. Like, I am willing to bet, I don't have the metadata with this, but I am willing to bet if Tim Pool actually got death threats over this, it's probably 0.1%. You can argue that it's 0.1% too many, but like, come on. Come on, I seen it on Twitter. Like, most people asking Tim Pool to talk about this issue were civilized. I haven't seen, unless he got like death threats in the mail, but even then, like, how many did he get? Like, it is very disingenuous. Like, when you're speaking like this, you're basically using the Anita Sarkeesian argument, right? Like, people were criticizing her for lying about video games, and she was like, oh, well, I'm getting death threats, so therefore we can't address the legit criticism. Like, no, you need to address the legit criticism. Like, I do not think that this gentleman right here, which is saying that you need to address censorship, he's sending you death threats, right? And come on. It's not okay to pit someone that's honest and generally criticizes in a group with someone else. This is literally the same like protesting, right? Like you go to protest because you generally believe in something, but because there are some rioters or some hooligans down the street, you're being lobbed with them. Anyway, right, so this is my piece. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the comment section. Take care.